Anyone who wants to be relevant with God must come to the conclusion that he must know him personally. And so one of the things that makes a man or a life relevant is the degree or the depth of the knowledge of God that you carry. I'm not talking about what was taught you in catechism. That is preparatory ground. I'm talking about personal encounter with God that has furnished a conviction in your heart and not a Christian ideology that you have. Every relevant person in the kingdom can tell you his personal encounter with God. In 1 John chapter 1 from verse 1, it said, that which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen, which we have looked upon, and our hands have handled of the word of life. So it was a journey they embarked upon. Now they know the word of life. They were not told about him. Once upon a time, somebody told them about him. But now they have seen him and they have handled him. Now, because they have handled him, they have become his witnesses. And so anywhere they go to, they no longer go in their name. They go in the name of the one they have encountered. And so for relevance eternal to be imparted on a man, his quest and ambition should be to know God. In fact, in the realm of God, the experiential knowledge of God is what he calls life. Life to God is not what is on your nostril, the breath on your nostril. He said in John 17 verse 3 that you may know him, the only true God, and him that he has sent. He said, for this is life eternal. And so anybody who doesn't have an experiential knowledge of God cannot function from the premise of his life. And so Paul speaking in Philippians 3:10, he said that I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering, that I may be made conformable. So there was an ambition Paul had. The ambition of Paul was not to be popular. It was not to be influential. It was not to have all his needs met. But you see, no one who knows him is stranded in life. It says, seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness. It says all other things. And the things he was referring to are the things that the Gentiles were seeking. He said they shall become additions. They shall be added unto you. But when a man is a wanderer on the face of the earth, who is not journeying into the knowledge of the holy, that man will pursue the things that should be an addition. And so the first thing that imparts relevance is the knowledge of God that you bear. See, when we walk around the earth, it resonates in the spirit how much of God we carry. The authority we command, the honor we carry, the influence we emit is a product of how much of God we have isolated. And so your relevance is tied to the degree to which God is crystallized on the tablets of your heart. And so when you find people who are fighting for mundane things, it's because pleasure of the essence of God in their spirit. And so wise men embark on the journey of knowing God. In fact, when Jesus was summarizing his ministry in John 17 verse 6, he said, I have revealed your name to them. Now they know me, and that is enough. And I wish I had time to talk to you about the names of God. You will see how that different dimensions of God are hid in his name. Because God does not need name for introduction. When the Bible began, it said in the beginning God. God does not introduce himself. Everybody knows him. He created us all. But when a name is allocated to God, it means it's a capsule of a dimension. The dimensions of God are hosted in the names of God. And so you find most of the patriarchs of old, each of them that shook their word, they were tied to names. He said, I have revealed myself to Abraham as El Shaddai. But unto Moses have I not revealed myself as El Shaddai, but as Jehovah, I am that I am. So they had different levels of the knowledge of God, and the knowledge of God they had defined the level of significance that they commanded in their generation. Church is not a religious gathering. Church is a place where we come to excavate God. We come to tap into God, and we come to align with the frequencies of heaven. And so when you walk in and out of church, what you carry is God. The measure of God you carry becomes the blessing, it becomes the authority, it becomes the favor, it becomes the wisdom, it becomes, because that's the totality of what God is. He embodies reality. So relevance is a function of the knowledge of God. Why am I laying this foundation? Because the whole idea of our journey is to know God. Because when I start talking about the journey, my emphasis will not be car, it will not be popularity. But you see, the more you know God, the more these things will be added. The more, it's just natural, it will just be added. There are many people that they dash houses and lands in this UK, they've never seen it. They submitted papers, and after 30 years, they give somebody else the paper. Because they have rested too much in God to be moved by anything. They have more than enough. And so the first thing that gives meaning to your existence is how much of God you know. And I'm saying that now so we can begin to troubleshoot and ask ourselves, do I only have a title? Am I only part of an assembly? Or this God we are talking about, do I know him? And if I know him, what dimension of him do I know? Because if you know him, you can manifest him. I can stop my preaching now and begin to manifest the dimensions of God I know. Because that one has been committed to you. It's unto us is committed the oracles of God.